thing that I had been thinking about recently. So a lot of focus has been, and rightfully so, on the Allegiance update. I think we're still in the very early stages of understanding what that actually looks like and the implications of that. And we know that the map update is right around the corner, and that's going to be very exciting. But when you look beyond that, I don't know a lot of people have been doing this, but one of the things that I'm particularly interested in right now is the trade-up system, and how that relates to potentially cars or other items in the game. Do you have do you guys have any thoughts on how that might unfold? An example that I had been thinking about is maybe if you own two $75,000 cars, you can trade them up for one $100,000 car, and so on and so forth. And we don't know what those exact mechanics will look like, but again, when you consider that stratification that will happen with cars potentially based on conditions, that could be a really interesting part of the game. How else would you see that unfolding throughout the rest of the game?
Yeah, it's kind of tricky because like I can speculate, but until I see the map, I won't know all the other things I need to be speculating on. You hit it right on the trade up. That's when I'm thinking that the global refactor is going to be coming in, right? And to be fair, I don't really care where the lineup is on the rollout for the white paper, because technically the wiki is a living wiki. The game is early access. The whole thing can shift around at any time, and goddamn right it should. The one thing you don't want to do in making a game is paint yourself into a corner because you're worried about launch requirements of XYZ, M, and NOP. If there is 12 billion pulse in the vault and it finally goes live, goddamn right. It doesn't, and like the minimum form factor was the 4 billion or 5 billion or whatever it was, just to give the ecology of a game its own turnkey. That way it has legs to play, right? You don't want to cost out a particular gambling casino by letting someone bet $100 million in real life on black or red. Well, I mean, there's a 50-50 chance that they may lose it all. Well, 49-49, but they also may win. And so like, that's why there's limits on a particular bet that you can make. There's a particular rollout on what you can do. So to get back to your question, with the trade up, that I think is going to release a lot more in-game mechanics that will be phased in, just as I think Jacob said that keys will be, or in-game shop items will be phased out when the game goes live. I think there's going to be multiple things that get introduced that will give an attractability to that. And I think also the random number generator of what the game is being built upon will modify and change. So for example, let's say I am equipped with my economy skin right now. Well, then I can go possibly get better rolls on crates. It's like modifiers in D&D or any other pen and paper game or anything like that. That will see those kind of things happen. But yeah, it's really interesting to think about all of those sub economies evolving with each other. Like for example, travel, right? You have trains and you have jets. Well, those are public transportation. That means that a detective may know you were there. Maybe there's a loading time that you have to sock it in to be there, that someone else could find you at that location. Whereas the three private modes of transportation are the planes. Now, there's only one in game, but there's 3 listed in the wiki: the motorcycle and the armored car. But it doesn't say how many people can ride in the armored car. Now, does it? I mean, you assume that only one person can ride in a motorcycle. But if you see someplace in like China or India or all the rest of that, I've seen a whole bunch of people on one goddamn motorcycle before. So you really don't know how all those things work till they actually roll out. All it is just a very high value of speculation, right?
And honestly, that is one of the most exciting aspects of this whole game for me. And it just, when you zoom out, right, we've dove into a lot of the details of potential mechanics and that kind of thing. But when you zoom out and just understand that this game is going to constantly evolve, right? That is the thing that is most exciting for me, beyond a lot of other crypto projects, right? Because not to disparage others in any way, but when certain things are launched, you know what the mechanics are. And that's what they are. They're not going to change. But this is going to constantly evolve. And really, to be successful at this, I think we identified early on, really the key to being successful at this is being adaptable, right? And to be able to take in new information, understand that information, and then take action against it as those mechanics evolve.
Exactly. And that's the one thing, is that most people are just focusing on the DeFi on their tokens, or they're just using vanilla wrappers, which is fine. Make a meme coin, do all the rest of it. Nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
However, from my point of view and my particular history, I get really excited about the expansion of how these things dovetail, work, bind, and communicate and work together.
Yeah.
And that's super, super exciting to me.